Okay.
All right. Let's see.
Oh, I don't even know her name.
Well, the third person just tuned in. Hey,
Okay.
Darius. That's Darius.
Christopher Lester.
Hey, what's up, Chris? You got in.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, man, I told you, I told you I was coming. Hey, dummy. I told you I was coming, bro. I told you I was coming. I was playing.
Yeah, can you see the screen?
Matter of fact, I'm just calling on the phone, man.
You're on the phone.
Oh no, hold on. No, I can. No, I'm gonna pull it up on the other phone. I got the other phone. I'm about to pull it up right now. Don't worry about it. I'm about to pull it up right now.
No, it's cool. I just wanted to make sure that everybody can see the screen. I got Shanada, you, Chris, and Darius. Just going over some basics, and I got a carrier that was a dry van carrier that's interested in having a dispatcher, but I'm waiting for his dispatcher agreement and profile, so then I can give him away. What I might do, I might work on. I'm gonna go over some basics tonight, and I may do some like carrier giveaways, like calling some of my old carriers. Well, not old; they're still under agreement, but calling them to see where they are currently, and if they are in need of any dispatching services. And I'll go ahead and those who are enrolled, I'll go ahead and have them fill out a sub-dispatcher form to start sub-dispatching some of my carriers. So what that does is it cuts the legwork from the beginner dispatchers for having to, find carriers, get them to sign up for a dispatcher agreement. You'll be dispatching my carriers, and we'll split the commission. Matter of fact, I'll probably give you more. You'll get 70%, and I'll get 30% because you're doing most of the work. When I give hey Xavier, when I give carry, I probably do it 50-50 starting out for the beginner dispatcher who have no experience and who still needs a little hand holding a little bit while they learn the process. And then when you become then when you become more experienced and I don't have to, worry about what you want to mess up a load for one of my carriers, then I'll let you go. Then you can keep all the most of the percentage. Like LaWanda, she dispatched about 4 of my carriers for like about a month or so, and now she's doing her own thing. I don't even hear from her.
Right, because she's learned the process. So she, like you said, and like we were talking, you said, hey, learn the process, and then once you do it for one, you keep doing it over and over. And like you also said before, once you start talking and doing that, you get with brokers. Now you start working dedicated lines. That's why she's in the mindset or already in the process of getting a truck and putting the truck over the road. Now she's got both oars in the water. She's dispatching.
Right.
She's dispatching.
So what she's doing, she's using. Yep. So what she's doing, and this is what you guys will end up doing too as dispatchers. So start off as a basic dispatcher, work the business, learn the business, and then leverage it to grow. Like you can use your credit, get a loan, leverage it, get a truck, and then become a lease on company, trucking company. You don't even have to have a CDL or be the driver. You can put somebody in the truck, get an authority.
That's it.
Right, lease under the authority, and then let them make the money, pay for the cost of you keeping your authority and everything and insurance, and then the rest is profit. And let them make. Now you have to be kind of careful when you vet those carriers. You want to make sure that you get carriers that are not going to run the risk of messing your MC authority up.
But I think,
so you want to.
But like you've been saying, Charles, and like in all your videos, when you start doing this and you start meeting these guys and you start kind of building relationships with them, you run into a lot of people who want the one thing that makes this business so incredible is that it's cats out there that really just want to drive. They don't want to have to deal with the paperwork. They want to have to deal with the other stuff. They just want to say, I want 4 loads a week, or I want 3 loads a week, and I need to make X amount of dollars. And if you can go ahead and get that form, then they'll call you. But like you've been saying, you said I got 30 drivers, or I got 30 carriers, right? And I may use maybe 10 to 15 on a regular basis. Well, those 10 to 15 can keep everything going for most people as they're starting a business, and then they can branch off and go buy a truck. They can go meet some more owner operators who are trying to do something, and then they can just bring them underneath. That's all they need.
Exactly. So what you just explained is called leveraging. You're leveraging your business. So you're starting off with the basics, building income. As a dispatcher, where you just start off with the simple stuff. You learn the basic terms, you learn what equipment types are, you learn the relationship between you as the dispatcher and the owner-operator, and then you also learn the relationship with you as the dispatcher and the broker / and or shipper, because you are kind of marrying the two. So you are putting the owner-operator with the broker, and you're marrying those two. And, you know, you put them together for loans. Now, and then the experience, when you become more experienced at it, you become more consistent with finding loans for your carriers, building that relationship with the broker, you know, then it goes from there. So. So, there's some background. You got somebody in the background with you? I hear some background.
Yeah, I'm about to walk. Yeah, here's my wife, man. I'm about to walk out. I was trying to put up groceries. I'm going to walk out there. I'm going up there so it's quiet.
That's fine. That's
putting
fine.
Up groceries, man.
There's like 4 of us here. So, I see other people tuning in now, too. Xavier has tuned back in. Xavier Williams.
Charles, while we're waiting, I did something, well, I'm going to do the class. Once I have the LLC, the EIN number, and all that paperwork done, and I've done your training, how soon will I be able to, I'll be ready to take a board? Because I can't really have no space, and then when I go for it, I want to go in straight, and this is all I want to do for the time being is dispatch.
Well, once you enroll into Dispatcher 101, that is ongoing. You can stay in that for as long as you want.
Mm-hmm.
There is no like 90-day, 1-year kind of thing. Now, as long as
No. I mean, as far as up and running and dispatching the business, how soon should I even look at the load board before I have my first driver?
You can look at the load board day one. You can look at the load board right now to get that experience. Even before I got my LLC and my EIN, I was looking at load board. I was actually booking loads before I had my LLC and all that stuff. So it's not that you can't book a load. You can still book a load and do all that stuff. You just, to make it an official business and to put it on the books as far as accounting and tax purposes and all that stuff, I get that part. But you can look at it now. You don't have to wait. At least, if you want to look at it for practice or in reality, if you want to start looking at it, get in a carrier under. So while you're waiting on an LLC and your business.
No, I have all that. I have all that already.
Okay, well then well to answer your question, then as far as how soon you should now go after your carriers. Start whatever methods that you're using to try to attract carriers. Whether you're going to funnel that through Exodus, or or just get the skill sets through Exodus and then go out on your own as far as cold calls, going to, I don't know if you have any local
I have a couple of
truck stops in your area.
5 miles.
Right. So which is the number one way to do it. Remember, you show your face and introduce yourself. You're the dispatch. If you got a point, you have business cards and flyers.
That's what I need to do today. Okay.
Right. Even if you don't, if you go up there and start a conversation and you need contact information.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get flyers and business cards, you go back to that same location and then make sure if they have like a bulletin board at that facility, make sure you get clearance with the management that you want to hang and advertise your services at their facility, and then as a show of respect, they'll be more willing to allow you to do that, as opposed to just coming in there and just bogarting and saying, I'm gonna put this here without permission. So it's all about, you know, respect, and it's a business kind of thing. So that's number one, direct communication with carriers, owner operators. Of course, number two, you do some cold callings, and then reach out to the you know, different social media platforms. The ones I use is like you got some groups on Facebook, like owner operators.
Right. Okay.
And then you have an owner operator group on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is more business. I don't do the Instagram and the Snapchat kind of thing as far as reaching out to owner operators. That's more of a gossipy kind of thing. Even Facebook sometimes. I try to minimize my Facebook usage to strictly business related stuff.
Right.
So even though it's a social media platform, sometimes it can be one of the most antisocial things that I've ever seen. So so use it to your advantage. Now, I like Facebook because of the large numbers and the reach, but use it to your advantage, because before you know it, you can get caught up in the whirlwind of, you know, talking about somebody's mama or whatever. Absolutely. You know, it's nonsense.
Right.
So use it to your advantage. But, going after the carriers. So the number one thing as a beginner dispatcher, going after your carriers, convincing them to say, you know, if I was a carrier, I'd say, well, what can you do that's different? This is the number one question a carrier probably should ask you. Sometimes they don't. But what can you offer me as my dispatcher that's different than anyone else? What kind of service? So you have to prepare yourself mentally as well as, I don't want to say physically, but educationally.
Right.
Or, you know, have the skill set, and at least the training, the starting training or the foundational beginnings of being able to answer that question. What can I? So if I was to ask you, what can you do that's different than any other dispatcher? I can throw a rock in the pond and hit 1,000 dispatchers. What can you do that's different?
Right.
You know? So prepare yourself to answer that question, especially if you, number one, speak to them directly, and number two, if you speak to them on the phone. So that's something to think about, you know, as a dispatcher. You know, so when you start dispatching and you call and you're looking for loads for your carriers, what are your goals in that venture? What are you trying to accomplish, right? Mm-hmm. So as dispatchers, these are some of the things that we need to actually think about, right? You know, because all the tools and resources are there, but we have to still put it together. I can give you guys all the tools and resources I have at my disposal, but
we don't apply it. We have to apply it.
Right, because the way you apply something can be different than the way I apply something. Like with LaWanda, for example, she's applying things more so than I am. I haven't dispatched in a while. I mean, I'm doing other things, but I still train dispatchers in the basics of it because it's the foundational.
That's what it is.
Yeah, you need it. You need to understand the terminology. Like if you're coming into this space of the transportation industry for the very first time and you know very little, if anything, about dispatching, you will be completely lost, even with the basic terms. Like what is an equipment? What is a dry van? What is a flatbed? What is a reefer? What's an owner-operator, carrier, truck driver? Are they the same?
Right.
What are the differences? What's the type of MC authority a person needs to have? Right. What's a broker? What's a ship? You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to provide a base foundation so you can get past the basics. So now you can really get into actually finding loads for your carriers. Right. And starting to make the money. So, but you can't do that if you call a broker and you don't even understand the conversation you're having with that person. Right. So now, in times past, I used to do calls. I used to do my trainings during the day, and I would actually call brokers. I would call carriers live, get them on their dispatch agreement, then I would call a broker live and talk to the broker on the phone, book a load for that carrier, and we went through the process of filling out the carrier packet. It's in one of the I can't remember the video, but it's in one of the videos, and these videos are recorded and they're available to enrolled members on the website under Dispatcher 101/training videos. So there's videos to refer to, but the point I'm making is that you need that foundation to understand what you're actually doing. So,
got it. Okay.
So one of the answers to the question, if a carrier asks you as a beginner dispatcher, well, what can you offer that's different than any other dispatcher? You have to think about that. Well, owner operators are real big on communication.
Right.
Like last training, I was talking to one of my carriers. His name is Smooth, and he's a reefer carrier. And I posed the question. He said, "Well, communication is big with me. If I can't get a hold of my dispatcher, there's no point."
Absolutely. Yep.
Right. And then when times like Smooth had called me one time at I think it was 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. where he was stuck somewhere and he needed a T-check to get cleared so he can leave on a load. So I woke up at 3 in the morning, called the broker's customer service line, which is 24 hours, and get all that straightened out. So that's what you need, that type of service. Now that was a one-off, right? That was a one-off where it's like once in a lifetime that happens. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, you still as an owner operator, right? As an owner operator, you like to know that your dispatcher is still available, right? So if I'm asleep as a dispatcher, my carrier is stuck from 3 in the morning to like 9. He could have been on another load making some money. So these are some of the things that we keep in mind as a dispatcher. So if you're going to commit yourself to this work from home, then obviously you're working from home as a dispatcher, then you should be available like all the time.
Absolutely.
Right?
24/7.
Yeah. So, well, everybody, welcome to Dispatcher 101 Training for Beginners. But we are recording, but it's cool. So yeah, I see some. Let's see, Shunada.
7 more.
907, area code 757. Robert, what's up, Robert? T. I'm not sure who T is. I'm assuming T is a guest. Area code 336. Xavier, I'm assuming is a guest as well. So, you have any other questions, Shanada? Let me unmute you if I can. All right. All right, we have other people tuning in. Hey, Moni.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Moni?
Oh, okay.
How is it going, Moni?
Okay. It's going okay. I actually started partnering with a dispatch company, and I figured that can also help me get more with my network working and get more used to the whole flow, because I've been sporadic with doing it independently, and I wanted to build more consistently. So I figured that would be a strategy and slowly build out in the meantime. Yeah.
And that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That is perfectly fine. So however ways and methods that you learn to now, are you dispatching what equipment types are you dispatching?
Dry vans. The only challenge that I'm finding is that they prefer to stay up on the East Coast. So it's kind of like learning their process. However, with everything you taught us, it really does work. It's just that just learning their personal processes, I guess they have their reasons. I'm not exactly sure. Some drivers are particular. So it's just pretty much running from, let's say, down to Baltimore. The furthest they may go down is maybe to Virginia, but mostly they like to be up in New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and where else am I missing? Massachusetts. Those are the main areas.
So do they have specific shippers or brokers or companies that they work with directly that keep them consistently running with the freight, or do you have to find them loads in that area?
It's a combination of the two. So there are some, but The also interesting thing I wanted to add is that I guess what works for them is that they do ask for higher rates. I know that the market is usually if you can get $2 per mile, that's a good thing. But I guess because of the way they do it is they ask for high going out, but coming back down is where it's, a little bit more fair, because I'm finding that some of the brokers, when I ask for, let's say, something like, 13, they're saying usually the load is about 9. So I have to, there are some who eventually, they do find some eventually that'll go for that rate, but that's not the average. And of course, that's what I hear a lot.
So when you hear that, what resources are you using to check to see if what the broker is saying about the rate is true, whether for that particular lane? So is it going from northeast down to southeast, or southeast back up to northeast that the rates are higher?
Well, meaning the company, the drivers ask for a certain rate. Like, for example, some of them won't go over 1,200 coming out of, let's say, Maryland going up to Rhode Island. So
Okay.
I have to insist on getting certain rates. Of course, you teach us to go for the best rates possible. So I do know that there are some that go for it, but sometimes I get the feedback of like, really? You're not going to get that, but
So what happens? So what happens when you do get it? Are they turning it? I doubt if they turn it down, right?
When I get the actual, they're fine with that, because I guess that's their bottom line. So that's what I really have to find. So I'm trying to be creative, and actually what I was thinking about sometimes was maybe finding a shorter stop along the way, let's say Jersey or something, which will give something cheaper, but will get them the full amount they're looking for eventually. So I'm learning how to be creative, but for the most part, I am getting them what they want, So, I do get a lot of no's, but, it's balancing out.
Right. Now, how consistent? So when you find the rates, you're dealing with brokers. Now, are you since they like to stay in a certain area?
Yes.
Are you thinking to like certain area, meaning certain states like Virginia? So let's look at the map real quick. Let me open up the map. And can everybody see my screen when I'm opening up? Let me open up the map real quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, so here's the map, right?
Yes.
Let me blow it up a little bit. So you mentioned, let's bring it over here. So the furthest east they'll come down is Virginia, right, where I'm at.
Well, that's one particular person, but let's say Baltimore to be safe, because they're mostly coming out of like Elton, Maryland, but Baltimore is kind of like the most southern part that they go to.
Okay. So Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, Jersey, of course New York. So they're going from Baltimore and they're covering all the northeast up to Maine.
Right. They'll either come. There are some that are kind of like down in Baltimore that will come up to but really the main states that they go through. Of course, they'll go through Jersey, but only to hit Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and New Hampshire. Okay. Though they don't hit like Vermont or PA. Rarely PA kind of on the Philly side, because you got to go through Philly, but definitely not New York and coming back and forth. So that's really that's what they prefer. That's their preference.
Okay. So with that being,
yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
With that being said, have you considered those states that they prefer to hit to go after shippers in those states specifically, bypassing the brokers, and to focus on now what type of commodity are they looking? Do they haul anything in their dry van? General freight, doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay, so with that being said, so just go after the shippers who are looking for carriers with the equipment type of your carriers, which is 53 foot dry vans.
Okay.
Yep. So I know you're dealing with, or that's option number one, and that's probably the harder option to go directly after the shipment. Or go when you're looking for loads in specific lanes in these states, like say a lane like Philly to somewhere in like Boston or something. The brokers, you know, I'm sure you're having conversations with the brokers, asking them. Well, I'm not sure, but I guess I should say this. You know, say asking them, well, how often do you have loads coming in this or moving in this lane, so you can try to get those trucks, you know, back and forth in that lane. Now, how many assets? You're working for one company, right? How many assets do they have? How many trucks do they have?
Currently, right now, I would say what's running now is 11. There's 11 running. Yeah.
You know what? You'll be better. And I'm assuming these are company drivers, not owner operators.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know the difference between, or are you able to explain what that is? What the difference between a company driver and an owner operator, Moni?
Yes, basically an owner operator, they have their own authorities, and you know they have to cover all their expenses. And if they're working under a company, the company, you know, they carry that stuff.
So what is? Because I know we have new people in guests. So what is an authority? What do you mean by
that? Basically,
so I'm putting you to the test. What are you talking? What is this? What is this word? What is this word you're talking about? Authority. What is that? What are you talking about? Are you the police? What are you talking about?
It's basically to be able to run your truck on the road. You know, the authority. You know, it's DOT to run your truck on the road.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And this is one of the enrolled members of Dispatcher 101 Training for Beginners. What she is saying is, if you are an owner, there's two types of, I guess, truck drivers, carriers. Yes. I guess if you're a company driver, you could be termed a carrier. An owner operator is exactly what that is. A person who owns their truck and they operate it. That's what the term owner operator comes from. You are the owner of that trucking company and you operate the vehicle. So you can either be a one-man team or you can be a team of however many assets or trucks you have in that company. In either case, either a company driver or owner operator, the company drivers obviously are going to get paid a little less because they're working under the authority of the trucking company. So they work for like maybe anywhere between 32 cents up maybe to close to $1.20, whatever, a mile. It depends on the equipment type. What is an equipment type? An equipment type is the type of trucks that you see on the road out here today. The ones that we mainly talk about because they move the most freight are what? The 53-foot dry vans trucks, which are the swing door air ride trailers connected to or coupled to, attached to the tractors, 53-foot refrigerated or reefers trucks and trailers. The reefer units, the refrigerated units are the same as the dry van. They just have attached to the front of the trailer a temperature control unit, which is called a TCU, and I'll show you pictures of that on the website in a second. And then the third equipment type that you see out here on the road, the most. Now, not to say that there aren't others, but the most, of course, are the 48 to 53-foot flatbeds. And those are also equipment types. But getting back, I don't want to get too far off, but the point as far as the authority, when she defined authority, what an authority is the FMCSA, or the Federal Motor Carriers Safety Administration, issues, and also DOT, the Department of Transportation, they each issue identifiable numbers to each owner, operator, or trucking company, authorizing them to operate their vehicles either within the state of their residence, which is intrastate authority, or they can go all over the country, touch all 48 states or however many states they have the authority to run in, which is interstate. So the FMCSA issues what's called an MC number, a motor carrier number, and DOT issue obviously a DOT number. So there are different types of authority for the carriers. There are different types of authorities for the brokers. I'll stick with the carriers since we're talking about the carriers. The carrier types of authority are the common carrier authority, contract carrier authority, passenger carrier authority, and household goods. So what are the difference between those? So when you are training with someone or learning from someone, you want to make sure that they are able to explain these thoroughly to you, especially from a basics perspective. So the common carrier are the ones you see out here all the time. They can pretty much haul freight, usually general freight or whatever the commodity is. They can haul for pretty much anyone interstate. Contract carriers is pretty much you have a contract with a specific company or a shipper or things like that. You're under a contract. Passenger carrier, you're obviously going to have passenger people on your vehicle. Like you ever see these Chinese buses or limousine services or even like Uber? You have a type of authority to carry passengers with you. That's an example of a passenger authority. And then the household goods, the HHG authority type for FMCSA for the carriers are the moving companies, like these large moving companies. Sometimes you may see large moving companies like I think it's called Covan that move military families freight all across the country. Like if you're in the military, you're moving from one side of the country to the next, you get your stuff hauled by a big moving company. They have a passenger authority. So that's what that means. With you, Moni, are you still on with me?
I'm here.
Okay. So what are you doing more so as far as, because you got 12 people, so now you're looking more attractive to a shipper. You can actually go to a shipper and say, hey, I got 12 dry vans, and especially if those trucks are running in those states that they like to run in the Northeast right there. Then you target shippers in the Northeast and you present your proposal to them. I got 12 assets that I can keep your freight moving back and forth, and we can set up a contract. If you're not doing that, which is harder to do than going after a broker and saying, hey, I got 12 assets or 12 trucks that I can fill your lanes for. So I don't know which one or both are you doing currently.
Okay, right now I'm doing brokers, but if you can advise me on how to reach shippers, because that sounds like the best strategy in this situation.
Okay. Look, I can show you. Look, right now, this is training, right? This is live training, right? So look. So let's choose one of your states, right? Choose one of the states that you have. Because you are an enrolled member of Dispatcher 101, let's go to our website for enrolled members, ExodusDispatchingTraining.com. Let's go to one of our load boards. Let's go to Module 2, load board.
Okay.
I'm a log in. You have a login because you are an enrolled member, so you have a login, right?
Yeah.
All right. So let's go to. I'm gonna click inside of our load boards. I'm gonna choose Load Solutions because you can look for shippers in Load Solutions in the state.
Oh, okay.
Remember that?
Yes, I forgot.
Right, okay. Load Solutions. This is one of our 10 load boards that we have. Now, 2 of which are, I got 2 different ones. I got 12 total because 2 of which are offered. 2 of the better load boards are offered to the subscription-based members. But you are an enrolled member. Everyone has access to this load board, which is a good load board. So if you notice, someone had a chat. Someone said something. Let me see here. Oh, Robert said teach. So Load Solutions right here. If you notice, when you first log in with the login that everyone has who is enrolled into Dispatcher 101, you search the shipper database. We have a shipper database, right? So you can search for loads and you can search for trucks. So this is a broker level login load board. And a load board, for those of you who are guests and are new, a load board is a resource that's used by carriers to find loads and to post their trucks available It is also the same resource is used by brokers to post their loads, so to entice the carriers to call them to try to book those loads and sell those loads to the carriers. So it's a repository used on both sides. The broker uses it to post the loads so the carriers can call them to book those loads. The carriers use the load boards to post their trucks as being empty and available, and also to search for loads for themselves. So this is a particular load board. Two of the popular load boards that are used out here the most are, one is called DAT, D-A-T. DAT is an acronym. It stands for Dial a Truck. There are, and then the other one is called Internet Truck Stop, ITS, Internet Truck Stop. There are different versions or different variations of load boards. You have broker level load boards and you have carrier level load boards. What's the difference? Broker level load boards gives you the ability, as a broker, you want to have the ability to post loads and search loads, as well as post trucks and search trucks. Because as a broker, you could be an asset-based broker. So you can have trucks in your brokerage. So that's number one. Number two, a load board can be a carrier-based or an owner-operator-based or level load board, which only gives you the ability to do two things. As an owner-operator, you should only be, if you have an owner-operator login type of load board, then you should only be able to do two things. Make your truck, post your truck as being available, and search for loads for your truck. That's it. You shouldn't be able to have anything else because you're not a broker. You're just an owner-operator. But back to Moni's situation. In this specific load board, Load Solutions, we have here search database, right? Search shipper database. So now, give me a city or a state that's one of the north states for one of your.
We can do New Hampshire.
All right, we won't put a commodity there because we want to leave it blank to give us a more broad result set once we get the results, right? So we search shippers, and we see what New Hampshire has to offer. There's nothing in New Hampshire.
Okay.
There are no shippers in New Hampshire.
Rhode
Island. So let's refer to so we got New Hampshire, right? I know there are shippers. I know there are shippers in New Hampshire, but according to Load Solutions, apparently none that's worth. So Rhode Island?
Yes. Or Massachusetts. Let's be safe with Massachusetts. Right, like Robert said. Let's do Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. So let's refer back to Massachusetts.
Okay.
And we'll hit search shippers.
Okay.
What's going on? There are no. So let's choose a specific city. Let's drill down.
Okay.
So hey, look, read these notes here, right? Note, choose specify city only option when searching for companies in larger city radius. So let's do this. Let's say Boston.
Okay.
Boston's a pretty large city. Now I got a result set of 0. So what's going on with Load Solutions, right?
Right.
Springfield.
Stationary? Springfield. Okay. Springfield.
Oh, I see what it did. Radius, it says specifies. So I see what it did. Let's do a 100-mile radius and see what happens. And because if you specify city only, then if I put it in state, I'm not going to get anything. So if I specify the city only, let's see what happens. So I'm learning something new about this specific feature here. City and state. Are there no shippers right now that are available in Boston? That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. I increased the radius. So
Okay.
with Boston, so basically what I did is specified city only. I did Boston, Massachusetts, and I increased the radius. Once it gave me 250 miles, what I did is 250 miles, and then I said basically Boston and then 250 miles surrounding. Okay?
Amherst.
Yeah, Amherst is a big area where a lot of shipping companies are. So now we get a result set of showing page 1 of page 290 pages, right?
Yeah.
So that's page 1 of 290 pages. Pages, not selections. And then they're grouped in 25 results per page. You can put in more, but we say 25. So we got
and
all
I see
these.
some right there in Delaware. I'm looking. Wow. Yeah.
Okay, so you got Delaware. So if you want something, and then you see the commodity, commodity, basically, a commodity is, for those who don't know, is what the carrier is actually hauling in the back of their truck, on their trailer. That's the commodity or the freight. Most people, you hear the word freight. Freight and commodity are synonymous terms. They mean the same thing. So whatever your commodity or whatever your freight is, that's what's being hauled. Okay? So, so now, since you're hauling dry vans, mostly going to be like what, general freight. So you know you can't, you're not doing. So let's do a little testing real quick. So let's go to this first option, concrete rail ties. That's not going on a dry van. Where is that going on?
Flatbed.
Flatbed. There you go. So now you can pretty much kind of sift through and see some of the dry van related freight. And then like beer might go on a dry van. I know it's definitely going on a reefer because it has to stay cool, right? Beer is beer. It's liquid.
Right.
But let's just say you chose that. Let's just say you had a reefer, just for the sake of argument. Baby wipes. We know that's dry freight, even though it's baby wipes. So Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble is a pretty big shipper.
Yes.
They're based in Cincinnati, Ohio. How do I know that? Because I used to live in Cincinnati, Ohio. So they employ 200. So if you want details about them, you just click the details link, and it gives you more information with their website, a contact phone number, even an address. So that's a starting point. So if you want to go after shippers with your 12 assets, then you could do that.
Okay, and that's basically my dialogue saying, hey, looking to see if you have dedicated lanes coming from X, Y, and Z to.
Well, I wouldn't even say dedicated lanes.
Okay.
I would just say, hey, I'm a trucking company. I have 12 assets. I'm trying to see if you have a need, or if you. I have 12 assets, and trying to see if we can help you with your capacity needs as far as hauling freight for you.
Okay.
And if you do not have a need, when will you? And if you do not have a need right now, can we at least exchange information so when you do have a need for more equipment types or equipment of my type, then just do some space there and fill it up, kind of talk it through. So if I was a shipper and you just click, I'm Procter & Gamble, so you would come to me and I'm big. Procter & Gamble, if we do their market cap is about, they're probably in the billions. So they're a large company, and I'm sure they have satellite offices all over the country, right? This may be a satellite office. This is in Delaware. This is not their headquarters in Cincinnati. This is just their Dover wipes plant. If you see that right there, right?
Right. Yes.
That's their Dover, Delaware wipes plant. So they're only doing baby wipes in Dover, Delaware, right? So they could be shipping all just the northeast. They could go down south. We don't know what zones they're shipping in. We don't know what their wide points are. These terms that I'm using now, because I'm dealing with IKEA, so we talk about zones, shipping. IKEA is a big national furniture company. I'm sure you've heard of IKEA, right?
Yes.
So we don't know what their wide points are, what zones they're shipping in. So you can strike up a conversation with the potential shipper and say, hey, I got 12 assets in my fleet. Maybe I can help you with your capacity issues.
Okay.
And if not now, when you do have a need, can you at least hold on to my information? And you're not asking them for a broker shipper packet because you're not a broker. You're not trying to set up with them. You're trying to go directly to the national carrier company. And you just happen to be the dispatcher for that carrier company. So now it's a win-win for you because I'm assuming that every truck in that dispatching company that you are dispatching for, you're getting a percentage for each truck that moves that load, correct? Or is it an overall fee?
It's an overall fee. Yes, overall.
Oh my God! No!
No, wait, hear me out, Charles. Hear me out for now because the idea is, speaking to the owner because it's been challenges with the market. It's going to build up. We just want to get these guys solid. He wants to do more, and it's going to change. It's just that he understands what I do, but right now, he wants to get things back stable. So
okay, so I get where you're coming from. So now, at some point, you need to renegotiate that contract with that company.
Yeah.
Say for every truck I move a load for, I need this percentage for it. Whether it's all 12, whether it's 7, whether it's 5, not one gross percentage across the board because if you do that over time, you're going to do yourself a disservice. Now I can see doing it, working your way in just to get that experience. That's fine. That's all fine and well. But at some point, you're going to become very good at what you do, right? I'm not saying that you're not now, but I'm saying you're going to become better. You're going to become better at what you do. You see what I'm saying? So you don't want to do yourself so don't do yourself a disservice down the line. It's cool to do it now because you want to get that experience, and this could be a resume builder, so to speak.
Absolutely.
So, but go after since you have an advantage now because you have a dispatch. I'm assuming you have a dispatch agreement with the company, not with each carrier, because each of those carriers is under the authority of the company. So,
correct.
Is that right? Okay.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay. So guys, for those of you also who are going after not just single, but if you do go after a trucking company, let's say that you're between 5 and 10, when you sign a dispatch agreement with the trucking company, try to work in the agreement that for every asset that you dispatch for, you may not dispatch for all of them. You may not dispatch for 5 to 10. You may dispatch for like 3, 4, whatever. Well, whatever that number is, if you dispatch for every truck that you dispatch or every asset you dispatch for, you get a percentage, the percentage of that load that you agreed upon, whether it's 5 to 10%, whatever that is. So now in Moni's case, she did what she had to do to get locked in, and I'm assuming that she's in a relationship with that particular owner of that company where if she's with them long enough, that's going to change, where she might be dispatching all 12 trucks after a year or so, and she's going to be like, look, I'm dispatching all trucks. I need 10% across 12 trucks. So, because I'm keeping y'all running consistent, especially if you get them on dedicated lanes. Now, you're not even looking for those now. Once you get on dedicated lanes, the lanes are already there. You always know where you're going. You always know where you're picking up at. All you got to do now is sit back and just monitor the revenue and keep track of your percentages.
Yes.
So, you see? But I don't want to digress. So the resource is Load Solutions in the back office, in our back office area, tools and resources under Module 2, Load Boards. That's just one resource. There are others. Hey, Jamie, thanks for joining.
Charles, can I ask you another question? The 1, 2, 3 load board, is that access on hold or something right now?
Yeah, I need to look at. Yeah, it is on hold. I need to look at it. I'm probably gonna because it was one of my carriers logins. I may just have to purchase it myself and just add it to the platform myself. Because right now, as it stands, we have Load Solutions, of course, Truckers Path. Some of these load boards are free. Some of them I'm paying for. Load Solutions, Truckers Path, Next Load, and these are not bad load boards. 1, 2, 3 load board. I'm going to look into purchasing this myself. So give me about a week or so. But we have other load boards to revert to, like free load search, DAT Truckers Edge, A1. I mean, they're all. This one's a paid load board. Direct Freight Services. So is Com Freight. That's a paid load board. And Doft. So these are good load boards. So, but yeah, to answer your question, I need to get and then for the paid for the paying subscription-based monthly subscription-based members, they have an added bonus of Internet Truck Stop and DAT Trucker's Edge, another version of DAT Trucker's Edge. So, hello, Jamie. Go ahead.
Just one more thing. I wanted to, well, it was a comment. It was a question and a comment. The other thing I wanted to ask is, are all the chats cut off now, or I don't know?
Well, on Facebook, let me go to on Facebook.
Okay.
We have our Dispatcher 101 Facebook group, right? So
right.
within all Facebook groups, there's a sub thing called a chat. So you have the dispatch. My dispatch. I got an email from Facebook saying that on August 23rd they were going to stop all chats. And I don't know if that was a scam or not, because as far as I know, other groups have their chats still. But I can't confirm or deny that. I just know that I don't have a chat group within Facebook Dispatcher 101. So what I'm trying to do is incorporate, and I'm testing different online chat platforms on my website under Dispatcher 101. So it'll be a private chat group with us. So in Dispatcher 101 under chat, I was putting some stuff in there, testing it, and I took some stuff out because I didn't like the overall feel of it. So I'm going to have it. This is going to be our new chat center, but I got to come up with a different online chat feature. I may have to pay for something that's going to keep it privatized to us internally. It's not going to be Facebook or anything like that. It's going to be, you come to the website, and it's going to be through our web portal, so we don't even have to worry about anybody else. It's only going to be for members.
Okay, I thought that was already up there, and
it was, but it had some features in there that I did not agree with, so I had to take it out. So I'm just testing it. Once I get a final chat version that I'm happy with, I'll make an announcement to everybody saying, "Hey, we got this chat group now." Now Google has, if you got a Gmail account, we do have what's called Google Hangouts. It's kind of like Facebook chat, but you ever heard of Google Hangouts?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about testing that Google Hangouts and see if I can integrate that and embed it into this web's location.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah. But right now, we can communicate on, and then also Facebook Dispatcher 101, we still can talk in the group. We just can't chat. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay.
Which is unfortunate because we answer the chat groups. You answer the questions in real time, right?
Yes, I kind of miss that, the camaraderie with everyone, because we're like a family, and that leads into the comment I wanted to make to the new people. Just again, be glad that you're a part of Charles's group, because he really is the real deal. So just be encouraged and be excited, because you really will get benefit and value from him.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry! Well, I appreciate the kind words. Thank you very much. I'm just here to help. I'm just here to provide the resources and tools and a little push based off of my experiences to help those who want to be freight dispatchers. And you can call me. I always put that, which I'm going to do right now. I always put my phone number in here. Every time you want, people call me when I'm at the warehouse. The warehouse I'm at, where we have the IKEA stuff, is bad reception in there. But yeah, that's my phone number and email. I'll put my email in there too. So yeah, it's all about the time. You're right. And Exodus Logistics LLC at yahoo.com. Yes. And I think the guests who are tuning in, I wanted to cover some basics and see what kind of questions that the guests may have to answer. Because I think Jamie, can you unmute yourself for a second, please?
Hello.
Hey, Jamie, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you? How's everybody? Hello.
So everybody say hi to Jamie. Are your people who were tuning in as guests? Are they? Because I'm not sure who they are. Is it
Yeah,
T?
no. 'Cause I had the training scheduled earlier, so I can't have my guys join in.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Everyone says hello to Jamie.
Hello.
So yes, Jamie. I think she's still in. You still in. Where are you? Indonesia? Where are you?
Philippines.
Philippines. Yeah. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Philippines. Yes, Jamie was part of the call center in National Hill Bank, but Jamie has since. Jamie's doing her own thing, right, Jamie?
Yep. The dispatching. I've kind of incorporated that into business because I've been in the supply chain business originally, and then when we did the call center with Wash, I just kind of decided to do dispatching as well.
So explain the hierarchy of the supply chain logistics, from the raw materials. Explain what's the order, the package. I know what it is, but I just want you to give an overview. Are you into that now, too?
Huh? Sorry?
Are you into the supply chain side of it, too, supply chain logistics?
Yeah, well, I mean, I used to sell supplies originally to the military and to the U.S. government. So that's pretty much the retail side of the supply chain.
Okay.
Yep, I wanted to diversify into the distribution side, but that's going to take a whole lot of resources, that I don't have at this point. And so I decided to transition. When I learned about dispatching, I transitioned the business focus to logistics and dispatching. So that's what I'm trying to do now. More on free transportation.
Right. So that's a good point that you make in supply chain logistics. There's a hierarchy, and within each section, we can actually point our carriers who we have under a dispatch agreement in a specific area. So in supply chain, you have the raw material makers, right? The actual raw materials. You could probably have shippers who just deal with the raw materials. You could put your carriers, line them up with the raw material shippers, and then you have the what's next? The wholesalers, the retailers, the end user. What's the order, right?
Okay, so you got the raw materials, and then you've got the manufacturers, the raw materials, and then suppliers, and then the manufacturers, and then you've got from the manufacturers. So all manufactured materials go to the distribution centers or distribution portals or what have you. And then from distribution, next up is the retailers and then the end users.
Right. So now, I wrote that down, and I might put it into I had it earlier when we were talking about it, but we can circle back around. So the question is, for those who are listening, how does this relate to dispatching, right? So let's circle it. It all falls in the transportation industry, and it all falls under supply chain logistics. So you can target your carriers in each of those areas. You have examples of raw material shippers. You can have examples of manufacturer type of shippers. You have examples of distributors or distribution centers, like the Walmart distribution centers, the Target distribution centers. You have examples of retailers, like the big box companies like Sam's Club, Walmart. So you can target. So depending on what niche that you choose to go after your ship, and this goes back to Moni. If you're looking for shippers in your specific area where your 12 carriers are, choose a specific supply chain niche and target that niche, target that area. Maybe go after if you have an abundance of raw materials in one of those states that your carriers are in, focus only on those raw material shippers. Or if you have an abundance of manufacturers in your areas, Moni, go after them. And the same is for distributors, and the same is for the retailers. Of course, the end users are us, the customers, the consumers. So,
okay.
but
okay.
So yeah, so there are certain ways that you can break this down to its very most minutest point. If you want to choose a specific area in that, it all goes under, first of all, it all goes under transportation industry. And then if you want to look at it, break it down again, it's supply chain logistics. And then you just target certain niches within that supply chain. But this is how a product is made. From the time the raw materials to the end user, you want to go after a specific area within that process, within that workflow. So that's a good point, Jamie. I really appreciate that you brought that up.
You're welcome.
So what else are you doing, Jamie? I'll just get a little feedback from you. I know you're a very busy woman. It's pretty like, what is it, like 8 o'clock in the morning over there? So.
Yeah, regular. No, 7 in the morning here.
So, yeah.
I just finished dispatching, so I had a pretty long day because I finished training my guys to get them ready to start dispatching tomorrow. And then I spent the rest of the evening dispatching my drivers. And then I just decided to hop on and see what you're up to in training. Because I haven't been around in training. I haven't been able to join for a while. So I've just been busy. Yeah, so that's it, pretty much, dispatching. And I talked to Ray today, see what we can work out with starting, as a freight broker agent as well. So I'm very much interested in learning how to do the broker side of the logistics business or the freight transportation business. So, but I still got to figure that out with Ray.
Okay, so with the freight broker side, I do training on that. I haven't done freight broker one-on-one training in a while, but if you are coming, so for those of you who don't know what she is talking about as far as a broker, the broker is the person who is the middleman between the shipper and the owner-operator, the carrier. A broker agent is someone who works up under the brokerage to help bring on more customers or more shippers to that specific brokerage. We as this, 99% of the time, we're going to be dealing with brokers. I can't say, well, I'll say 80% of the time we deal with brokers. Maybe 20% of the time you may get direct shippers. So if you can get direct shippers, that's better because you bypass the broker and more of the money is passed to the carrier, thus passed to you as the dispatcher because you're getting a percentage of that more of the money part. So, but being a broker or a broker agent, your job is to get shippers to say, hey, you can move my loads for me. This is my target rate. The target rate for a shipper, whether it's to a broker or directly to the carrier, is always the same. I'll repeat that. The target rate that a shipper is selling their loads for, that they need moved for their customer, let's say we have a manufacturer shipper that needs their commodity shipped to the distributor. Their target rate is always going to be the same, whether it gets moved through a brokerage or whether it gets moved directly through carriers. So let's, for example, that's $5,000. And let's say that Jamie is a broker agent for Ray's Brokerage, whatever the name of that is. Ray's Brokerage, we'll just say Ray's Brokerage. So the standard rates, I'm thinking the going rates is between 15 and 20% that brokers are marked off the top. So let's use those real numbers, $5,000, let's say 20%. So that's $1,000 that the broker is going to mark off the top and resell that load to the carrier for $4,000. They keep the $1,000. Now, within that $1,000, depending on the agreement that the broker agent and the broker have, whatever commission split is for that load or that money, if it's 60-40, then the agent gets 60%, the broker gets 40% of that $1,000. So the agent gets $600, the broker gets $400, so on and so forth, depending on the commission split. That's how that works. Also, within, and I'm just you high level, and you understand what I'm saying. You also learn, you have to learn their processes. You have to learn how to use their TMS system. A TMS system is a transportation management system that's used. It's a database, a repository of information about the carriers that they bring on and the shippers that they bring on. it's a combination of a CMS system, a content management system, CRM, a customer relationship management. It's used for accounts payables, accounts receivables, bookkeeping, invoicing, anything that TMS system is used for, transportation management system. And Jamie, you're going to learn this, I guess, whatever TMS system that Ray is going to be using, whether it's Ascend, whether it's eFreight Solutions, whether it's Aljex, you're going to learn how to navigate that, build the load based off of what the shipper is sending you guys, whether it's through an EDI alert, which is an electronic data interchange, or not. So there you go. Hopefully I didn't give you too much information.
No, I really appreciate that. I didn't know what TMS Ray has. I've had a little bit of experience with Ascend because one of my customers uses Ascend, but that's for the carrier side, not for the broker, side.
Right.
But I guess it's pretty much similar.
Yeah, it's similar. They all serve the same. Basically it's a database keeping track of everything that's going on between the shipper and the broker and the carrier. It's just it's a centralized database of information to keep things organized. It's like a graduated Excel spreadsheet, so to speak. But it's like content management, customer relationship management. You're familiar with those terms, right? So.
Yep.
So there you go. So how are you dispatching? How are you training your people under you? Are you training them basics, or are you training them of this is what you do when you call the broker to book that load, to get the setup packet going and things like that, rate confirmation? What are you doing there? Are you at that point?
Yeah, so I just train them pretty much with everything that I do. So from start to finish, I just taught them how I do things. And yeah, that's it. So I gave them an overview of the terms and things like that and the concepts, and then I just put it all together for them so they can follow through with however I'm doing things from start to finish. So the only difference with how I taught them was I did not teach them how to cold call because my staff wouldn't be cold calling. So they'll be working on existing clients. So all they needed to learn for now at this point is how to do dispatching. So how to contact brokers, how to follow up with their drivers, their assigned drivers on a daily basis, and how to book the loads, how to monitor the status, do the check calls and things like that, and afterwards, after the load is delivered, how to do the proof of delivery follow up until sent to the broker. Yeah.
Now so with your existing clients, how many assets?
I think they have about 15 right now.
Okay, so that's going to keep you busy.
Yes, exactly. So I needed to add more people. I was supposed to have 3, but the third dispatcher quit yesterday for some reason in the middle of trading. So that was frustrating. But I still have 2. So I'm planning to hire more, but not until I get more volume from the client.
So with the client, which is I'm assuming the client is a carrier company, trucking company.
A trucking company.
And are you? Well, I know you're dealing with brokers, but are you going after direct shippers as well to try to make that job a little bit easier for you?
Yep, there were a couple of direct shippers that we were trying to set up with. One was successful for one of my flatbed drivers, but that was up in the north. It's kind of, and there are a couple other lumber shippers out there in the north that he's pretty much set up with. But I'm not doing much with the flatbed because I'm keeping the focus on the dry van for now because that's where the volume is. And that driver is pretty much self-sustaining. I mean, so yeah, he's able to book his loads on his own. He only comes to me if he needs help with getting backhaul or getting load specifically to somewhere that that's kind of a difficult lane for him.
Okay. What about reefers?
Reefers, we sometimes do loadout reefers, and there's one carrier or one driver rather right now that's interested in getting a rental reefer because that's the requirement in order for us to work with one direct shipper. So there's a farm that he used to work with a lot in the past, and his requirement is that there should be a lease or rental reefer or an owned reefer trailer because he wouldn't work out with loadout trailers. It's too risky for him, as a shipper to do that. So we're just waiting for that rental reefer to happen, and then we'll set up with that direct shipper. And that's about it. I planned on working with direct shippers for a while now, but I've just been too busy, and I didn't have anybody to allocate the workload to because I just been busy dispatching on a daily basis instead of going after the direct shippers, setting up accounts and strategizing for my drivers. But now that I have a couple dispatchers that I can assign the drivers to, or some of the drivers to, that I'm freeing up some capacity to do the direct shipper content. And hopefully, in a few weeks, I'll have my own database of direct shippers, a few accounts in there that I can work with.
Well, I can. Okay, you mentioned database of shippers. Robert just asked, can you export and import to the U.S.?
Import export?
Yeah.
It would depend. It would depend on the commodity and the volume. But
okay.
I can. Yep.
Okay. Looking at Freight Broker 101, I believe I have under tools and resources under my Freight Broker 101. I got TMS systems. This is my Freight Broker 101 course, training, I should say, not course, but training. I think under tools and resources, I think I got shipper lists in here. I haven't been over here in a long time because I've been doing mainly dispatching, but I got broker tidbits in here. I got a whole host of shippers, ship broker insurance, how do I get shippers, different resources, top 500 manufacturing companies. So this could be by state, and these are all PDFs. I got so many resources, I forgot what I had, to be honest with you. This is crazy. Compliance.
Yeah, that alone, that alone, I mean, your list, that's enough to keep anyone busy. So
right. So yeah, right here. So you can just Google these companies. This is a 13 page, and this is a 2017 ranking. So that's 2 years old. So the companies may have switched up, but these are manufacturer companies. So they could be. You can Google these companies in your area, and then do a search for them. You also have Thomas Net, McGrady's Blue Book. You can go after shippers in that genre as well. Just any questions, Jamie, you know me, any questions, you reach out to me. You don't got to be a part of the platform that get question answered. So yeah.
Yep. Well, when I need something else, I'll be ringing you or just sending a message on Facebook.
Yeah. And you got my phone number, so I mean, I'm not. If anybody know me by now, one thing I do not do is hold information. So.
Yes, that's absolutely true. Charles gives a whole lot to this dispatch platform. So you're like what the other lady said earlier, you're really lucky if you're part of the platform because you're going to get a lot of value from the platform and from Charles' training.
Now, I was the last training, Jamie. I don't know if you were in the last training, but I had on the phone a lady who is she's a freight forwarder, so she gets her loads directly from the shippers, and then she sells them out. And it's about to explode. I would think in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I'm partnering with her, and she's about to just She's all over the country. She travels everywhere. She talks to shippers. So a freight forwarder, they get the loads from the shipper. They buy the loads, and then they just sell them to the carrier for a higher value amount to the carrier. So freight forwarding is like a step above a shipper.
That's expedited freight. Does she work with Hotshot? And
that's a good question. I'm not sure. But with expedited, you got load boards. Expedite loads.
That's still something that I gotta learn. I mean, I have a Hotshot carrier that I've signed. I have a signed agreement with, but I haven't really been able to look after him. So they've been booking loads on their own. So I gotta learn that so I can get his business. I mean, I can make that agreement work.
Is he a straight truck or is he a flatbed dually Hotshot?
40-foot flatbed.
Okay, so he's a flatbed. Okay. Here. Right here. Back to load boards, right? I got Hotshot loads on here, Hotshot load board, right?
Yeah, I have that, but I can't.
You have Hotshot?
The Hotshot load board, I think, on your resources, I tried using that, but I couldn't get the contact information. Like, there are loads posted, but I couldn't access the contact information.
On mine?
Yeah, on the Hotshot carriers load board on the list.
Yeah, on my load board, the one I'm looking at now.
Hold on, I didn't have video on or screen share. Hold on.
Well, I'm logged in. So, are you accessing Hotshot carriers through the website, through my website, or you have your own login?
One. Yeah, no, that one. Your login.
Okay, so choose a state. What state is your Hotshot carrier in?
Texas.
All right. Okay, so we got all of Texas here and then some other states afterwards. So we got loads here, the amounts. You said you couldn't have contact information like phone numbers or anything?
Oh, there.
Yeah.
I can't see it. I can't see it for some reason.
Oh, what are you on? Like you on some kind of like Chromebook or something, or?
You mean the browser?
Yeah. What browser are you using?
Google Chrome.
Yeah, Chrome. I'm in Chrome right now.
That's crazy. I'm going to try that tomorrow. I'm going to check that out again. This hotshotcarriers.com? Hotshotcarrier.com.
Right.
Huh. I'm going to give you a call if it still doesn't give me the information tomorrow.
Yeah. Because everybody can see the screen, so we're looking at loads right now.
I can see that right now.
Yeah. I just want to make sure I'm not losing my mind.
Well, I might be doing something wrong.
Well, it's fine.
The login details that's listed on the load board's resources, right? The one on the website, on your website.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll check that out again. Because I downloaded the form. I don't know if you've changed any passwords or something, but I had the original file downloaded from your website.
Okay, yeah. So if you run across anything that's changed that's not allowing you access, just let me know.
Okay, I will.
And then I'll open up access for you because you were one of the originals. So.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. One hand washes the other. So.
Thank you.
How is the alternative funding coming?
I pretty much put that aside. We're still trying to get Carolyn funded. So I had her resubmit. So we were waiting for some improvements on her end to try and get better offers or try and get her approved for offers. So now we're still trying. So we've resubmitted documents, and we still have to see what kind of offer we can get her, if we can get her approved. So
Okay.
it's been quite challenging. I haven't been referring people for funding pretty much. I've put that aside to focus on the logistics side, but it's still open. I'm still actively partnered with my funders. So if there's anybody, who are interested, you can just send them my way, and we'll try to work it out.
Okay, and then back to the Hotshot thing. You mentioned Hotshots and Expedited. I got a gentleman who's logged in now. We have expedited loads like Sprinter vans and box trucks. So there are websites or load boards for that too. The Selectus and My Virtual Fleet and Expedite loads. Those are catered to the Expedite
Sprinter van
equipment. Yeah, the Sprinter van, the 16-foot, the 10-foot Sprinter vans, the 16-foot, and then the 26 up to 26-foot box trucks. If you have a straight truck or a box truck, try to focus on LTL freight in your area. Go after the shippers, the manufacturers, the distributors, the retailers, not the retailers, but the distributors and manufacturers in your area. If you have a 24 to 26-foot box truck with a 3,000-pound hydraulic lift gate, if you got like straps, hand truck, pallet jack, go after those LTL companies that are in your area, and especially if you have your own authority. I'm speaking now to the LTL, to the straight trucks. If you're in my area, because we're looking for in the Norfolk area, IKEA is trying to revamp. We got a big distribution center that just got built in Norfolk, Virginia, and we're looking for independent contractors. There's two types of IKEA contracts. There are the independent contractors who deliver the IKEA products to the residents and the commercial facilities, and then there are the independent contractor setup teams. So if you have a straight truck, now you can, and you're an independent contractor, you have your own authority with the insurance and things like that. You can look to make anywhere between $400 to $600 a day. Now, granted, it's a 7-day-a-week thing with IKEA in this particular region, as far as I'm aware. But with a straight truck, you can, and it's a 2-man team, so you just do the numbers with that. IKEA is not going anywhere. It's volume. They're actually expanding. So most people say you can't make money with LTL, but if you do the numbers with that, you'll be surprised. So that's like $3,000 to $4,000 a week gross. Now you factor in your fuel and paying your driver and your helper. You're still going to turn about maybe close to $2,000 to $2,500 a week. So I don't know you, but I mean, $2,500 a week after expenses, that's $10,000 a month. That's $120,000 a year with one truck, and that's a 26-foot box truck. So there you go. Let's see. Are there any questions? And then Christopher, I think I'm still working on your question as far as the Sprinter vans with IKEA. I remember you texted me earlier. So, but are there any dispatching questions? Because I kind of got a little off topic, but do they run out of Cali? Do what run out of Cali? The Sprinter vans or the IKEA? IKEA. I'm not sure if they have. Well, let's look it up. I would get with my local guy and see if they have a satellite office out there. But do you have a Sprinter van out in Cali, Shanada? So let's see, IKEA, California. So we got some IKEA, Burbank, East Palo Alto, and West Sacramento. Those are 3 locations. So the question is, are these stores or are they distribution centers? So we are a distribution center. So are these stores or distribution centers? That's what we need to know, right? So this is a marketplace, IKEA. So let's go to their website. So, Yeah, anything IKEA way, if you got IKEA, that's the name of the street it's on, it's a distribution center. So I don't know if you're close to Burbank, Sonata. What part of California are you? Are you close to any of those locations?
I'm in Southern California. The closest one probably would
Los Angeles.
be, yes.
So that's Burbank, right?
Right.
So let's look at that one. Burbank. Let's go to their website. Anything IKEA way, because we have an IKEA way. So yeah, Burbank. There you go. So now they have a contact number. So I would. So what do you have? A box truck?
Sprinter.
You have a Sprinter, so you inquire. So you're in the same situation as Christopher is. He's in Norfolk. So so now with Sprinter vans, though, think about doing expedited runs, expedited loads, where you run freight. Like I used to do expedited for the airports. You would go and do what was called a sweep. You would get luggage, because sometimes people come into the airport before their luggage gets there, right? They usually beat the luggage. So your luggage may come later on or the next day. So we had a team that would go up there and get the luggage and then deliver it either to the hotels or to the cities that the people went to when they got to that city.
Right.
And you get paid for that. That's expedited. We also used to run medical, in styrofoam cases with ice packs with like body parts, like ears and eyes and all that. That's expedited because you about to have an operation. They need to now. It comes off the plane. I actually went out to the tarmac. I drove onto the tarmac to the plane, signed an IAC piece of paper releasing this freight, and then I took it and ran it to the hospital same day by a certain time for that operation. That's what expedite means. And you get paid for that service because the same day, and they need it. It's what's called a hot shipment. You need it right then and there. So look for expedited type of stuff like that. Running court documents to circuit courts in your area. They may have a big major trial that needs, like I did a thing where I ran something from Norfolk, Virginia Federal Building up to Charlottesville, Virginia Federal Building, which is some 200-something miles, but you made $230.
Right.
So, and I did that in a car. I used to be an independent contractor doing that. So if you have a Sprinter van, you can set up different routes for yourself in your specific area based on that specific niche. So you would Google, let's go back and Google Sprinter vans, and let's see, expedite, I guess. Expediting Sprinter van, expedite jobs. So you just, search something like that and expediting freight jobs in your area and see what comes up. So let's say expediting jobs or expediting freight jobs or something like that, and it will expediting jobs. So, and how many Sprinter vans do you have? You just have one?
Yes.
Okay. And is it a long one, like a 16-footer, or the little short? Because you got Sprinter vans and you got the little small one they call transit.
I think it's extended. Yes.
So it's a Sprinter van. Yeah, the Sprinter vans are like 16 to 20 feet, and then the transit vans are like 10 to 12 feet.
Right.
And do they have the extended height where you can stand up in it?
Yes, it does, because I think he had gotten some ticket out of it. It was he had it redone, and it was brand new. But he's doing something with it now. Actually, it's my boyfriend, and I was just trying to make him a part of what I was doing. But I may keep doing what he's doing and just do my thing with dispatching.
And then there's another thing, too, you may consider, too. Now, Amazon is coming out. I'm not sure if it's Amazon, UPS, or DHL, or FedEx. But Amazon is taking over the home delivery space with Amazon Flex, right? You see these Amazon Sprinter vans kitted up and everything.
I've seen them. I see them a lot here.
Right. So what they do is they give the I think it's up to $10,000. They give the owner-operators the ability to be their own bosses.
Right.
Not owner-operators, not owner, independent contractors, the ability to be their own bosses with that Sprinter van, and you just do loads in a certain zone. And I got a guy who's doing about, he has a Sprinter van, he's doing about $1,700 to $2,000 a week.
Oh, wow.
But the only drawback is he's out there from like 8 in the morning to like 9
at night. Yep. You have to.
Because you're delivering, all you're doing is like running up to people's houses, dropping off little boxes. Sometimes you need a signature, sometimes you don't, depending on the service type of the delivery. There's different service types. There's a basic delivery. There's no signature required. There's deluxe. There's premieres, things like that, right? So depending on the service type determines how long you're going to be at a stop. So if most of you
doing it, and they run about 200 and something stops a day.
Now, see, that's a lot.
I know it.
So if you figure you can handle that volume for that amount of money, and you figure at some point you want to get out of the truck and still keep the truck, but have to hire somebody to do it, and you still make the money. Or you give them the majority or the percentage of it, and then you still make the money while you're sitting at home. So it's all about scaling and leveraging it for yourself. So.
Okay.
All right. Any other? Well, I didn't ask any. Are there any questions? Because I didn't get into the basics of dispatching. We just got in and just started talking about stuff. I didn't even call one of my carriers. I was supposed to call one of my carriers. It's 7:30 now. I'm going to shut it down a little bit. I want to get a little rest, but I wanted to call one of my carriers, open up one of my files. Matter of fact, see, because I want to do you guys a disservice. Let me open up. While I'm doing this, if anyone has any questions or comments, feel free to unmute yourself. And I seem to have intermittent internet issues too. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. What's going on with this? Exodus, dispatcher 101. Agreements. Let's see. Go to my database of carriers on my 7% carriers. Okay, so these are my carriers. If you notice, they're color-coded. The color-coded, the yellows are the ones that we deal with a lot. The white ones are the one-offs, like they'll call me every now and then if they need a load, they're stuck somewhere. And then the blue one, I think the blue one is there's something about their account that they need to fix, like their insurance may be getting old, they need to update it. The red one is, I think he's done something wrong, so he's in the red. And these are hot shots. Like this is a hot shot, this is a hot shot. So I deal with hot shot carriers. Who did I have in mind? I was going to call someone I had in mind, but I can't remember. It escapes me. But I'm giving you guys a bird's eye view of my filing system. Don't take a screenshot. All right. Oh, I know who I need to call. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I want to call Joel and see how he's doing and what's going on over with him. Put it on speaker. He's over in Nevada, so it's a 3-hour time there, so it's like 4 o'clock there. Hopefully he'll answer.
Hello.
Hey, Joel, it's Charles. How you doing, man?
Oh, pretty good. How you been?
Oh, man, hanging in there. What's going on over there?
Well, I'm preparing to get cold. It's preparing to get cold. We're supposed to see zero, probably almost zero here in the next couple of nights.
Jesus, man. I keep forgetting. Oh, yeah, you're over in Elko. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Central Nevada. I'm not by Vegas. I'm not where all the crazy people live.
So are you shutting down for the season, or what are you doing?
I actually I'm hauling into that dairy again with hay at the moment.
Okay, all right.
So I have my own deal going right now.
Okay, just checking in on you. I remember LaWanda was working with you a little bit.
Yep.
So.
Yep. No, we're still going. Okay. Slowly but surely.
So what are you gonna do? You gonna put some snow tires on, chains when the snow comes down, or?
Oh yeah, they're not. This cold front that's coming through, they're saying it's supposed to be a dry cold front, no moisture with it. It's just going to be getting cold, but yeah, we got to start putting chains in there so we can chain her up.
Okay. All right, I'll check on you from time to time. Just making sure you still got a pulse.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You do that.
How's the family?
Oh, they're doing well. Yep.
And I gotta call James too. James still with you? He's still driving?
Yeah, he is. Yep.
Okay. All right, man. It was good hearing your voice. I just want to check on you, see how was going on.
You bet, Charles. Have a good one.
All right.
Thanks for calling.
All right.
Yep.
All right, Joe. Joe's one of my flatbed guys. He's over in Colorado. Well, no, I'm sorry, Nevada, Central Nevada. Said something about snow coming, so hopefully he'll be safe. They putting chains on his tires out there in the snow to haul hay for the dairy companies, right? So, did everybody hear that? Just want to make sure everybody heard it. Okay. So, he's and let me call one more carrier so you guys can actually hear a conversation with the carriers. And this guy is a guy who was supposed to fill out the dispatcher agreement. So this is an example of when you call a carrier and they want to fill out a dispatch agreement. This is what's called the follow-up. Now, this is my second follow-up with him. So you'll get to a point when you're dealing with carriers, if they really want to be dispatched, they will return to you what they need to be returned to you. Otherwise, do not waste your time.
Forwarded to an automatic.
So either he's sleeping his sleeper. Now, he came as a recommendation for one of my other carriers. Speaking of which, let me call Francie and see, this is his friend. So let me call Francie and see what's going on with him. Carriers on carriers. See, I'm at a point now where I don't have to do a search for carriers. I got such a database which is fine, but I want to get them to the point where they still need consistent dispatches, and I'll just pass them on.
What's up, my friend?
Hey, what's going on, Francie? Hey, I called Lucy and I talked to him twice. Sent him the dispatch agreement. I'm just seeing if he's ready to run or not.
When I was having some issue with the truck, you get everything done except the expedite is waiting for the expedite paperwork.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it should be waiting anytime soon, but just waiting for the scrap to get so you can get moving.
Okay, the fuel tax stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Where you at? You back at home?
No, I'm not in Miami, man.
Oh, yeah, Mom's.
Yeah.
How's Mom? How's she doing?
She's doing all right.
All right, cool. What? And you ain't called me?
I just get here today, so I wasn't panicked yet.
Oh, okay. When are you trying to get out? Today is what, Wednesday? When are you trying to get out, by Friday or something?
No, I get tomorrow, Friday.
And, because I know you don't want to deadhead to Atlanta or anything like that. That's too much.
No, that's too much, but I would go up far to Jacksonville.
Okay. I'll look for some. I'll put some of my dispatches on it too. So you're in Miami. You're trying to get back up north, or are you trying to get to Texas, or are you trying to get back home?
I'm trying to get to Texas. I'm not trying to go back home yet.
Okay, so you're trying to get to Texas.
Yeah, try to make some money before I go back home.
Okay. I'll put my eyes on it.
All right, brother, man.
All right.
Take it easy.
Yep. Okay, guys, you hear that? Got an assignment. I wasn't even looking for work. So, who wants to work with me on this, one of my carriers? He is he's a dry van carrier. He's in Miami right now. He's from New Hampshire, and he comes down to Miami to visit his mom. He gets a load from the top northeast down to Miami. But now he wants to go over to Texas because he understands that there's good freight for dry vans coming out of Texas. So you want to get into an area, if we look at our map, you want to get into an area of Texas that's paying well. So looking at the map, he's in Miami, which is way down here. He wants to get over to Texas. Now, like Houston, maybe Dallas, FW, Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio possibly, and Laredo, and even McAllen. But you don't want to go to Abilene or Midland or Odessa, especially with a flatbed or even El Paso with a flatbed or a reefer, because you can't get anything out of that. I've learned that over the years, over time. So you have to. So over time, as a dispatcher, you will learn certain areas you can go into, but you can't come out of, and vice versa. So that'll make you a better dispatcher. So we need to find something from him coming out of the Miami area going to the Texas area that's paying pretty well. Even if we have to find him something that goes from Miami up to, he said, Jacksonville, getting something up to there, and then something out of Jacksonville over to Texas, or even Atlanta over to Texas, like deadheading all the way up. He doesn't want to do that, but he said if he had to, you just burn a lot of fuel. He want to at least get you some money coming out. So who's up for that challenge? Don't everybody speak at once either. So I'm giving, I don't want to say giving a carrier away, but an opportunity to actually dispatch a carrier to learn that process and to learn it. This is a difficult scenario, so now the easier scenarios, of course, will be easier for you. So if you can do a dispatching job with a difficult scenario carrier, then the easy ones will be cake for you. Oh, see, Shanada's not even into the platform and she wants to do it. Okay. You want to unmute yourself, Shanada? Am I pronouncing your name correctly, by the way?
It's Shanata, but you're good, fine. You're good enough, close enough. Okay.
Yeah, so I have a feature or an aspect of Dispatcher 101 where, Chris just said he'll do it too. Now, the one thing too is, Chris and Shanata, part of co-dispatching or sub-dispatching for Exodus is you have to be an enrolled member. That's the only drawback.
Right.
But
I'm ready.
But he's in an area of Florida. Florida is hard to get out of.
Right. And why is that?
For certain equipment types. And because Florida is considered it's not a dead freight state, but it's like a seasonal state. Like certain equipment types like reefers, they're good in Florida in certain seasons, because for the reefers you can haul like produce and fruit, things like that, because Florida, of course, oranges, right? So things like that. So certain states are good, and it fluctuates and it shifts across the board, across different states. Like one week Florida may be good, the next week is terrible. One week Georgia may be good, the next week is terrible. You just never know for a specific equipment type. Now, the only thing that is consistent according to this map is the Midwest. Doesn't matter what season it is, because a lot of stuff's coming out of the Midwest, going all points, whether it's north, whether it's west, whether it's east, south. From the Midwest, it's a good area to be in. So why not send your equipment types if you have them in areas other than the Midwest, why not send them to the Midwest? That way you know for sure you have something coming out.
Back. Right.
Right, because so if you know if the Midwest is good going and coming, then point your equipment types toward the Midwest.
Way. Mm-hmm.
Right. You see what I'm saying? So that's where the thinking part of a dispatcher comes in at now. And then as over time you build relationships with the brokers, you can set up some kind of like triangular coordinated thing on the map where you can send them down, say for example, Ohio down to Atlanta, then over to Texas, back up to Ohio. So you may have three brokers where you can coordinate those lanes, a lane from Columbus to Atlanta with one broker, another lane from, let's say, Macon, which is like a certain deadhead from Atlanta, a broker in Macon over to Dallas-Fort Worth. That's another lane, and they run it every week consistently, and then back up to Columbus from Dallas or from Fort Worth. So you got 3 brokers, and they run those lanes every week. So now you got a dedicated triangular thing going on.
Right.
That's quite a possibility. I've seen it done. You know why? Because I do it.
Right.
You know, I do it. So, and I got the, let's see here. Dry vans, frenzy. At least 10%, I'm sorry. 7%. 7% dry vans, AAS. I got the rate cons to prove it. Rate confirmation from each drivers. So I got like an organized file system. Now I got my data backed up, of course, but for every carrier agreement I get back, I put them in based off the percentage I charge for that time. Like I got different percentages I charge. I charge 10% to some carriers, 7% to others. So of my 7% carriers, I got this group by specific equipment types: flatbeds, dry vans, box trucks, hotshot, reefers, power, so on and so forth, right? So let's say within the reefer, so all these subfolders under the reefer carriers who are 7% dispatched, these are all the reefer carriers I have. So now let's say, for example, under the reefer, now under this particular, this is smooth, these folders under this reefer carrier, these subfolders represent all the brokers that I've booked loads with for that specific carrier. You see how that works? So now under one particular broker are all the rate confirmations that I've booked. So this is what I don't know if you know what a rate confirmation is, but it is the final piece of paperwork that you're going to need in order for that load to be booked.
Take off.
Right. It has the details of the load, where it's picking up, where it's dropping, things like that, any special instructions, how much it's paying, what's the weight, all the details you need for that load. That is a rate confirmation. So when you get a rate confirmation back to the broker sign, the load is officially booked. The load is not booked. The load is not booked if the carrier packet is complete. The only purpose of the broker carrier packet or the broker setup packet is to get that carrier set up specifically with that brokerage. Right. Now the dispatcher agreement is between you and the carrier. But the broker carrier agreement or the carrier packet, that when you call a broker and they say, hey, yeah, I'm looking at this load going from A to B, they say, what's your carrier's MC number? You give it to them. They look it up. Everything's good. He said, okay, you want this load? We say, yeah, well, let me send you the carrier packet. That's what the broker means. They'll send it to you either in an email or a link to a website for you to fill out. You fill that out, you get it back to them along with some other documents that we always require, that the brokers always require, and we always get from our carriers when we need to book a load quick. That is the carrier's W-9, the carrier's MC authority, and the carrier's certificate of insurance. Right. So when you get a carrier under a dispatch agreement with you as a dispatcher, you want to also get back the profile for that carrier so you'll know how to find those for them, what they want specifically, how much weight they want to haul, how much cents per mile do they want. So those 2 things are the first things you get back. The other 3 things that you're going to always need when you talk to brokers are those other 3 things that I just mentioned. the W-9, the MC authority, and the certificate of insurance. Why? Because the brokers need this information to process in their system to approve that carrier to move loads for them. Right. They need that. They're gonna process that information in and run it by their compliance team for approval, and then say you are approved or you're not approved and why. So that happens over and over and over again. The only thing the process is the same. The only thing that changes is the carrier and the broker. But the process of how to book a load is always the same.
Okay.
So if you get that in your mind, you'll be fine. Right? You'll be fine. So, but I hope I didn't overwhelm anybody with too much information, but
it's encouraging.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let's see. So I gotta see about putting someone on Francie who's a who's a dry van carrier who is in Florida trying to get in Miami, Florida, which is way down there by Little Hialeah, Little Havana, way down here in Miami, almost by Key West. So he got to drive some 700 miles to get out of Florida, 500 miles. 500 miles to get out of Florida, and then over to, so he's going to be doing like at least 1,300 miles. But if you could find a load that's paying anywhere between $1.50 to $2 a mile to get him out of Florida over to Texas somewhere, I can guarantee you he'll take it. Because most cases, a lot of drivers, depending on the time of year it is, they're going to be deadheading out of Florida. And all deadheading means you're just driving empty, burning fuel, wasting money. So wouldn't you rather drive with a load under you to a better paying load I'd rather take a cheap load out of Florida for something than to get out of Florida for nothing to a higher paying load. It's just the law of averages. You'll make up that difference in the end on the back end. So any questions before I got to look up this. Thanks. Who recommended this? Linda. This is called Slack Chat. It's a new chat. I'm gonna do some research on Slack Chat and see if I can incorporate it into our private chat area on the website. I may have to embed it into the back office, into the back page of the website, or they may have some kind of integration feature, some kind of app. So we'll see. Someone type something here. All right, guys. Let's see, Wednesday. So the next trainings are Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, unless something happens and I need to cancel, or But typically, that's the times, right? According to the website, which is right here, live online trainings. And again, I didn't. Go ahead.
Sorry, can I ask you? You said that the 123 load board will be back up soon.
Yeah, I need to. I probably need to get a subscription myself. It was one of my carriers. He let us use his login, but he just didn't pay to renew it, so they just expired. It's just not paid for. So what I'm going to do is probably put an MC under and just get a subscription myself, and then add it back to the platform.
All right.
Now, when that's going to happen, I'm not sure. I would say within the next. What is this? Today is the 10th. Today is the 9th. Give me about 2 weeks, if not sooner.
Okay.
But in the meantime, the other load boards, I guess you're just finding 123 load board more user friendly for you, or?
Correct. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And there was one that Lawana mentioned that she's on a lot, but I don't think that's part of our group. I can't remember it off the top of my head.
It's either DAT, Trucker's Edge, or Internet Truck Stop.
No, there was one that's not on there. I think it started with an A or something. I can't remember. But that's one that she says she uses a lot outside of this.
Okay, I got to ask her. I got to call her and see.
Okay.
Yeah, who is this? Is this Moni?
Yes.
Yeah. If you remember, ask her an A. Try to remember what load board that starts with an A that I know of. I know Dat Power. She might use Dat Power. And I know she has Internet Truck Stop because she used to use mine when she was booking loads with my carriers. So, but yeah, find out what that one is, and she may be using it specifically for because she does now. She's featuring or she's specializing in power only loads. So, and I need to get with Ray about that too.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'll look at 1, 2, 3. There are other load boards that are just as good as 1, 2, 3. Have you had a chance to look at the other ones or try them?
I kind of tried them, but I think maybe it was the aesthetic or something for me because they had extra features of breaking down the miles and stuff like that. It just, to me, was just, I guess, comprehensive for me. Better.
Okay, understood. So I'm gonna look into that 1, 2, 3 load board. See why. Well, I know why the owner operator did not renew his subscription. Her subscription. It was a female. So.
Okay.
All right. So I'll just add that to an expense account for Exodus and just put that in and just roll it into the because believe it or not, I'm just using part of the reason that I charge a subscription is to help pay for some of the load boards. I mean, I'm not doing subscription based. I'm not doing subscription based to make money for me. I'm just basically recycling the income to help provide you guys with a centralized choices of load boards.
Okay.
I'm literally not making money from the subscription based feature. It's just helping you guys, But yeah, I'll look into that and then go from there.
Okay. Appreciate
All right.
it.
No problem. I will see you guys Sunday, unless anything happens prior to then, but Sunday at 11 a.m. All right?
All right.
And for those of you who are tuned in, who are guests, I appreciate your time. Any questions, I left my phone number in the chat, 757-515-1684. Xavier, area code 757-907. I know that's Christopher, area code 336. I appreciate your time. If you have any questions about joining or anything like that, just reach out to me, and I can answer that off. We can table this until we talk offline and go from there. I'm looking forward to the freight forwarding feature where we add direct shippers. That's going to revolutionize this particular platform because everybody's probably going to start coming in here trying to get direct shipper loads because I got a source that has direct shipper loads. All we have to do is just give them, our carriers, MC information and insurance and stuff, and then they can find the loads for them and sell it to them for a higher price, or offer it to them for a higher price. So once I get consistent proof of concept from them, then I'll open up the floodgates to you guys. So, and that's how I usually work. I don't give you guys anything unless I prove that the concept of what I'm presenting to you works, because I don't want to waste your time, nor mine. So that's how I work, and most people don't agree with that, but I mean, it just makes sense. Why give you something that's going to waste your time? I'd rather give you something that works. So, all right, see you guys Sunday. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it.